Hello, I am Sophie, and this is Take Charge with Sophie. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the blame game and how that contributes to us not taking charge of our lives. The average African has a tall list of institutions and individuals they hold accountable for their woes or predicaments or poverty. The list include colonial masters, governments, ancestors, parents, bosses, and all other people, even their spouse, apart from themselves. But truth be told, if you look deep into ourselves, we hold people accountable for everything that happens, but we contribute a lot more to whatever happens to us than others do to us. We'll take all these institutions and individuals one by one, and I'm sure by the time we are done, you understand why we need to stop the blame game and just take charge of our lives so we take our lives to the next level. Now let's go to the first institution, colonial masters. Yes, it is true and it is a fact that Ghana or Africa has been colonized by Western nations. How about other Western nations that were once colonies of other nations, but today they are so prosperous and they are doing well, creating so much opportunities for their citizens? Yes, it is true that we've been colonized. It is true that some of our mineral resources have been taken away by our colonial masters. But what happened to the remaining resources that our colonial masters left for us? That is a question we need to answer. Now, the average African or Ghanaian also think that government is the reason for which they have not been able to achieve a lot of the things that they have done despite their efforts. I agree with them. I agree that government has a role to create opportunities so that people with little or minimal efforts can progress, so that there's so much welfare for everyone in society. But even in the worst economy you can imagine, there are still people who are doing well and are very, very prosperous. So we have no reason whatsoever to just believe that because we are in our economies are being run by governments that don't really care about their citizens. So everything should remain as it is. No, irrespective of the government and your location, if you purpose in your heart that you want to push yourself to the next level, yes, you can do it. How about our ancestors? People believe that Africans, our ancestors have done so many things, so there are curses in their families, and if you go to churches and then they ask people to pray about breaking curses, you hear the loudest shouts and tears and all that. That shows the level at which people believe that a lot of things are holding them back. Yes, there may be one or two or three things that goes to confirm that, there are some curses running in certain families and all that. But you realize that in some families that we believe to be cursed, even in them, we still have a lot of people who have succeeded and are doing very well. Why are those people outliers? They might have taken their own destinies into their own hands and actually run with it and then have been able to break through. Now let's come to parents. People believe that they were born to the wrong parents. That's why they can't achieve their aim. Yes, nature bestows on us parents. We don't have a choice in choosing who our parents are, but we have a choice in choosing who our partners are. We have a choice in doing so many things that can make our life better. So the excuse is not enough. There are people who have been born to wicked parents or irresponsible parents and all that, but they have still been able to make something out of life. How about those who were born and orphans and had no parents, and then with little guidance, they've been able to make it in life? The decision is entirely yours. Don't outsource it to your parents or any other institution. I want us to get to that. And some also believe that their bosses are responsible for them not seeing the kind of career development they want. Yes, there may be one person that might at some point in your career actually constrain your growth or that kind of thing, but it gets to a point in your life you have to move on. pick their feedback, work on them, and even move. I want to speak tree in this place. They say a krodosun and snafa kwenye the angel nimgwase. So if you are working in the company and you feel that constantly you are being disrespected or your efforts are not being seen, look out for other opportunities, move out, and then you'll be able to see the needed career growth that you are seeking. I want us to get to that point where we entirely hold ourselves responsible for whatever happened to us. The moment you begin to drop the excuses and hold yourself accountable for whatever happens to you, at that point you begin to take charge. Why hold on to a curse that is 50 years old, 100 years old, when you are in the present that you can do something to change the future for yourself and that of your children? The interesting story of Jabez, whose mother even cursed him. This young man tried. He was so restless, and at the end of the day he became so blessed. And even in Christians, they say the Jabez prayer that people pray always, because the young man did something different. How about Joseph, that was sold into slavery by his brothers and later got in prison? Sometimes we say that our siblings have disappointed us, our uncles and our loved ones and all that. He was sold into slavery by his brothers, but at the end of the day, in slavery, he got imprisoned, but he still became a prime minister. The decision is entirely yours. Don't hold yourself back by holding grudges and being angry with people who don't even know they have wronged you. Your progress is entirely in your hands. How about Esau? Esau sold his birthright to his brother, and it got to a point in his life he needed that birthright. He needed the blessing that came with the birthright, and the blessing was finished. This young man went and he wrestled, he worked so hard, and at the end of the day, he became so wealthy. So when it comes to taking charge of your life, if you really want to take charge of every facet of your life, you need to drop the excuses, you need to be intentional, and make sure that you need to also be self-aware. You know what is unique, what unique challenges you have, and purpose that you cannot impact the entire world immediately, but just set a very small target that this is what I want to do, and brighten the little corner where you are. If you can't be the sun, at least be a candle to light the world around you. Yes, you can do it. Yes, we can do it, if only you purpose in your heart to take charge. In the next episode, we'll be discussing more interesting ways of how we can take charge. Bye-bye for now. Cheers. Like, comment, and subscribe. And also press the notification button so that you can get notified anytime we make a post. Thank you very much.